My husband has a lot of words, but my words may be few, but that's who I am. And I count it a joy that I've lived with a man that can express himself, and it's brought joy to my life.
Simple.
And is it this simple that do I, and maybe I didn't hear you all right, but do I hear you also saying that as parents, as physical parents that bring children into the world, maybe that the most important thing we could possibly do is introduce them to their real father?
Absolutely. And that we did. They went to Sunday school with Charlie. We were back Sunday night. It was Wednesday. It was camps. Our boys had all the opportunity in the world to know and love Jesus and live right for the Lord.
And have showed it.
And
they've
when
lived
they
pure
left,
lives.
they were equipped. And as parents, we are not responsible for what they do in their lives after that, other than to love them, to know that we're here for them. But it's more important for them to know we love Jesus than how we feel about them or how we feel about things. Because then it gets complicated. Because if a parent lives for their children after they've left, they're not going to have the harmony that Dick and I have always had in our marriage. Because once our kids leave and cleave, and we tell all of our mentor couples in pre-marriage, it is the most important thing God ever said to you at this moment. When you get married, you leave your mother and father. There's purpose with that.
And the
Amen.
key word is leave.
Yeah, amen.
See ya.
It's not so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya. Don't come back to us. Huh, we've done. We've poured into you. Clip it. Yeah.
So I got to tell you guys, and I know you know this, but we can go and we can look at a lot of things. I'm amazed to go out to the beach, and people are looking and they're looking at the sunset,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and they're in awe. And an unbeliever will looking on. There's something amazing out there. What is it? We know what it is because we
Yes.
have actually seen the one who made all that. Yeah. And as a younger guy, I know that I had good parents and loved my mom dearly. Ended up loving my dad dearly. Not a great. They weren't together. Mom, dad divorced, and you don't realize as a dumb guy, I say, which you've pointed out several times. Thank you. Very, very bluntly. But you don't realize that you're looking for something, and you're looking for a dad who's intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And a dad who knows how to hold you, a dad who knows how to tell you you're stupid or stop it if you're doing something. And then all of a sudden, and I won't say it here about how you and I met at first at the fishing retreat on Tiger Lake in the back on the fence line there. That wouldn't be appropriate, would get edited out. But it was real. And there was something that was so attractive to you, as there are so many of us orphans running around out there looking for not just a dad of earthly value, but one who knows the Father's intimacy.
Combination.
And when you see that, when you hear that, when you taste that, you want it. And that's what's been so amazing about our relationship, to me, so valuable about us. And then all of a sudden you find out it comes with a mom. Wow, this is double good. And I got to just tell you, this is so funny. So many times when I've been with you too, it's so funny because you argue so well. It's so funny. You'll cut her off, she'll cut you off, or you'll correct one another. But it's so funny, and you watch all this happen, and it just happens almost eloquently. and then to hear each one of you talk about the other one when the other one's not present.
Mm.
Wow. I don't even know how to thank you for the inheritance you're still here, and the inheritance you've given so many of us.
That's called love and respect. And we've been to 5 conferences, and we've eaten the book,
But we lived it.
but
Yeah.
we lived
And
it.
lived it, and we had
You
it.
are living
Had
it.
another
Yeah.
a venue come in and say, "Okay, we're doing it right," with pluses because we
Right.
could improve.
Right.
I mean, we have to improve, Robert.
We've read so many marriage books over the years with Charlie Martin. He'd find something and read this, find this, read that. When Love and Respect came in, it literally rocked our world, and we understood it even more than ever before. And granted, it's a book written by godly people and
Right.
and with such purpose. If you're going to do something well, you got to read the manual.
Amen.
And we read the manual, but we read all the wisdom through Chambers, through the Love and Respect, Elgridge. He's got a list of books to hand out men that are 20 strong. How to be a man, a godly man.
Right.
We just don't come with our wisdom. We don't have all of that wisdom, but we have the materials. And Charlie always made it available, and this church has always made it available. And we give them out. We know the people that need them, and they read them. So it's a combination, I think, of God's word and then all these brilliant people that, like the Eggridges,
Right.
that have produced the Love and Respect ministry, along with Matt Lauer, wise men that brought all the stars together in our church. And we don't talk about it in our church much. You very rarely hear about the marriage mentoring.
Right.
If we had our way,
Right.
it'd be talked about once a month
Right.
to let these people know we've got 20 people, 20 couples in our church that have been marriage mentoring for years and are willing to open up their home and pour their hearts, God's hearts, into them.
And almost all marriage conferences and all marriage problems that we've seen, they're all small. They're irritations that people have with each other, habits, time. It's never deep. It's a growing apart. You just grow.
Right.
You grow away.
Right.
It's like, I don't know why I do it, but I'm glad I do it. Sometimes I say, "You want me to go with you?" She'll say, she's going to go shopping. "Want me to go with you?" And sometimes she'll say, "Yeah."
Right.
Or sometimes she'll say, "No." I found
Right.
out that's based on how much money she's got in her wallet.
Right. Yeah. Might be.
It's another story.
Well, and that's one of the things that Pam and I, one of the profound things that left a mark on us forever while we're on this earth, and that is our marriage mentors have mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because usually, like, well, we're screwed up, but we don't want to tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you two tell us about how screwed up you are and that you have mentors that you go to, oh, this is one big club.
It's a family affair.
But how many of us as married couples don't even know this exists?
I would say 90
Yeah,
plus percent.
Hurts.
I
It
at
hurts.
least.
it hurts.
They're not. That's not happening. It's not common. We
Right.
knew that right away when we got involved in the ministry. It's just like, and when you mention it to people, they physically shrink. Their shoulders drop,
Right.
and
Oh, yeah.
they'd rather not.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Rather
Oh, yeah.
not.
Oh, yeah. And so, and I know before we break tonight, I would really like to ask you if you don't mind me asking, I'm not going to ask Karen. Grandma said it wasn't polite, but how old are you right now?
I'm 79. I'll be 80 May of next year.
Okay,
80.
and I know you married a younger chick, so we
I
won't
did.
even ask her. But
She's much younger
I
than
am
me.
76.
okay, oh, okay,
Mhm.
and I love the smile. You know, that's one of the things that I
Yeah.
notice when I talk about you or you guys talk about each other. She just starts to glow.
she's still enamored by
I'm
me.
haplessly in love with him. I'm
She is.
sorry, but it is just,
It
it's
was
what it is.
It goes back to high school. When she's
Yeah.
really mad, she'll go back to high school, dancing on a wooden
And when
floor
you,
in the gym.
That's
when
your
you can do
family put
something
in.
this
Yes.
important together,
Oh, wow.
I mean, how could you ever grow apart?
wow, wow.
You just, it's impossible.
So I'd love to just ask you this simple question, each one of you separately,
Okay.
and
Ladies,
ladies first.
Ladies before
Ladies
gentlemen.
first.
Yes.
Okay.
What excites you when you wake up? Like, if you wake up tomorrow morning, what would you think about that you would want to do that would just like excite you?
Well, I have had very few nights that I didn't wake up with him right by my side. I am so comfortable with him being there that I probably could not be without him for a long period of time. I enjoy his humor. I enjoy everything about him. I don't want to say he's my best friend. He's the man I fell in love with, the man that has always taken care of me. I've had my biggest joys in life with him. We've raised two wonderful children together, and we're so happy to be where we are right now, loving each other and having God use us.
Wow. Okay. Beat that.
I know.
Yeah. Beat that. You're in a box now, brother. I'm sorry. I owe you an apology already.
No, I would say, using an old term,
Wait a minute. Don't say ditto. Don't let him get off that
No,
easy. Go
no.
ahead.
I would say it's a mutual admiration feeling. I love her like I did when she was 16, 17, but in a totally different way. It's transitioned. You know, I loved her as a little girl and a cute little girl. And then I loved her as a pregnant mama, bringing me two beautiful sons, losing one in the thing, going through a tragedy of a
Miscarriage.
miscarriage, and messing up her what she could do for more, because we both wanted 4 kids like we were raised with. We wanted a lot of activity.
Right.
And we ended up with a 2 good young men. And I would say ditto to what she said. We still sleep in a
Queen bed.
Yeah.
in a queen size.
We got our first queen
bed.
bed when we moved in our new house 9 years ago. We've been sleeping in a double bed all our lives.
And we had to have the bed adjusted. It was one I bought at a garage sale when
I was pregnant with
When-
Bobby and had Kenny on my.
pregnant with Bobby.
Yeah.
Garage sale, sweet old lady. It's part of why I love being with her. And it was the name brand. What was it called? Remember? Anyway, it was a high dollar when it was in a gorgeous house. Lady had lost her husband, and I was looking at it and just touching it, because we'd never had fine furniture. Always a farmhouse with rough stuff, and I was feeling it. It was mahogany, just enjoying it. Was I working at a furniture store then?
Mhm.
And just enjoying it. And she spotted me. She was there, and it was an open thing, a estate sale. She said, "Do you like that young man?" I said, "I've never seen a piece of furniture like it." She said, "Well, the whole thing it's one set," and she told me who it was. I don't remember that now. I said, "Well, it's just beautiful. My wife is pregnant, and we have a child." And I said, "I bet this thing is a fortune." She said, "Well, maybe not. Maybe not." I said, "Well, it was a 4-poster with a canopy. I mean, it was incredible, way out of my league." And so as we were talking, she said, "Well, I'd like you and your wife to have it."
Mm.
She says, "How much could you spend," or something to that? How much was it?
$150 for everything.
She's going to sell it to me for $150, which was, I didn't realize till years later. She was rich. I was poor. She recognized me as a kind young man because I talked about my wife. I had admired it from all directions. She basically gave it to me. So I don't have the money. I'll run home and get it. We have a cookie jar with money in it. Will you hold it for me till I come back? She says, "It'll be here." So I had to go quite a ways home on 9th Street North, all the way from where it connects with the interstate now, all the way back to ours on US 19, give or take a little bit. Got the money, went back, and there was a furniture guy there just beating her down.
Oh boy.
That, "I'm going to give you hundreds of dollars," and so forth. It was, have you remember the name of the maker yet? I got to go home and study that.
Thomasville.
No,
I don't know.
no.
It was something famous like that, but she had bought it probably in the 20s. I mean, she was that old. Something that when they used to do work, craftsmen.
Right.
I mean, I was in love with it. I'd never been in love with anything, but I knew this was going to drop. When Karen saw it, she was going to squeal. And the guy's trying to beat her down. "Well, I told you I was going to give him. What? How much is he going to give you?" "Well," she says, tidy little lady. She says, "That's really none of your business.
Oh my gosh.
I already told you it's sold. And why would I share that with you? Please leave us alone."
Oh my God.
While I get who came back with me because I had to have somebody, I don't remember. But piece by piece, I took it apart, wrapped it. I brought lots of things with me, wrapped it. I think I had to make 2 trips, didn't I?
What he's saying is he's very sentimental.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
We're
we
still in
can-
the same bed.
we are still sleeping in the same bed that we got when I was pregnant with Bobby, and he's 50 some years old.
Oh my God.
55. So 55 years old, and it was at least 100 years old then. So it's a 155-year-old bed, and it had to be adjusted some because they had to put a special thing in it to take the queen-size bed. It was a double, but I was explained by somebody you could make it. Anyway, there it is. The only thing I did wrong was let the canopy go. And I put it someplace, but it doesn't matter. It's still a gorgeous bed. And my dresser, I never had a dresser in my whole life. I mean, it changed my life. It was always junk. The drawers would stick. This is Drexel. And
That's
Drexel,
what it is.
Drexel was
Good
then,
for
and
you.
I think it's still top of the
Standard.
line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it comes up to here on me. So when you stand on it, it's like in the movies.
Right.
Like, who could have a dresser
Right.
like that?
Yeah.
But you think now it's just furniture. But it impacted my whole life, number one.
And it's been with us forever, and we are different than most people.
yeah, we got,
I mean, our friends think we're weird, but that's okay.
I think they think we're weird in an okay
In a good way. Yeah. They wouldn't be your
But they
friends.
do know I would say it's not weird. I'd say we're eccentric.
Yes.
That we still have the same furniture that we've had for 50 years. And
So
it's-
if he's not going to give up furniture, he's not going to give me up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hate to close down. I know, guys, thanks so much for spending time and just sharing your
Oh,
heart.
what a joy.
This has
And,
been fun.
This is, to me, a treasure, a national treasure. It's an inheritance to me. to get to hear from your hearts. And I know that God's going to bless this and he's going to send it out. He said his word never returns void. And it's so funny as you two have drank and ate from this book, and as you regurgitate it out in the ears of your disciples, I know that it's going to continue to preach the gospel and return with people to the aisle. So I love you guys dearly. I just
Can
can't
I add
think-
one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. You
The
can.
one thing, and it just happened, it was our new pastor,
Aaron.
Philippone.
Mm-hmm.
Philippone. How he found out, I don't know, but he discovered that we were the only 4-generation couple in the church, and he told it last Sunday in the church,
Yeah.
both services. He says, some people have been here for a long time, something to that effect, but the LeBrants are the only, Dick LeBrant and his wife Karen are the only 4 generations. He says, do you know how unusual that is today? Well, it turns out it's unusual. We had never thought about it. Is that the neatest thing? When was that?
That was last Sunday.
Last Sunday. He mentioned that. This is my generational book here with Pastor Charlie, but I bet there's not a page in here without underlines that I've had, and I quit using it because I didn't want it to fall apart. But I don't know why NIV. I had no choice in it. I just got it, and I loved it. But you show. I think I had it that night out when we were talking about the Proverbs. I was hoping you'd concentrate on.
Mm-hmm.
But in here, the Proverbs are just, I've got them totally destroyed. But I'm just showing my excitement when I had to get a new in Ecclesiastes. I mean, it's just page after page. I was like a starved, drowning man umpteen years ago. That's rather a long note. What's that about purpose? What is the ultimate meaning of man's existence? That's not shallow, but it was just, I was totally enamored
And what
and still
woman
am, and I'm
wouldn't be
starting
so
to read it
happy?
over again.
To see her husband every morning with his face in the Bible. That's called security. That's called security.
And you can't consume it. That's the thing that impressed me along the way. You start reading it, and I gave up. People said, well, just read the whole Bible. Well, as an educator, I said, well, that's just dumb. I mean, starting page 1 and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I said, that ain't gonna work for me. I'm a random guy. I'm gonna move where the Lord says, look at this. Right. Look at this. Right. And I want it to affect my life at the time, because so much of it, you would be doing it as a prize or something you had to do because all your buddies have said, I read it from page 1 to the end. I thought, as a teacher, I don't get it. So I haven't done it, nor do I intend on doing it, because I don't think it was written that way. And my personal, professional opinion, he put it together so you can go anywhere at any time and hear his word. Right. Don't get tied up on.
Right. Someone, I think, once said that a person who has a Bible that's old and worn and tattered is probably living a life that's not.
I like that. I'm going to write that down because it's true.
Yeah.
It's not.
Absolutely.
It's just not.
And when we're ones to take notes, I mean, every sermon.
Then
we tried to tell our new Pastor Aaron to slow down a little because we're older now.
Yeah.
But in this church, we had Charlie Martin that raised us. We had Jeff, our preacher teacher, that has taught us so well.
Right.
And now we've got Aaron that is a combination of both of them. We're excited. We're very, very excited about our new adventure with Aaron.
I'm going to re-echo in case something got cut out. And you made a comment that was piercing, as you said, who wouldn't want to have a man that you wake up to that's got his nose in this book, and the security, the safety, and thanks for sharing that. So thanks, you guys. Appreciate you. Love you dearly. Please continue to pour in us and pour in so many. And I don't know where this is going to go. Not sure who is going to watch.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't exactly understand what a podcast is.
Mm-hmm.
And is it something that you edit and draw down into something smaller, or is it something that you just play because you are sitting here doing this? I'm that dumb about a podcast. I have no clue.
Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen to this, but typically a podcast, in simplest forms that I know, the ones I watch, they typically do a hour content, and they are typically more than one person. It's a conversation that's going on, and it's typically edited. So
you take out parts and so
Yeah.
you make it, because I thought that was awful long for, I enjoyed it, but I still don't know what a podcast is until what you just told me. And then where would you see a podcast?
Well, you would see a podcast on YouTube, Rumble, on the air,
Those
or
are
maybe on the
Those are
radio.
on your phone?
Yeah, on the phone, on the internet. We'll show you. And we'll actually, what Cole does in some instances, actually, our Josh going out to
Yeah.
hang out with Cole,
Yeah.
that was a podcast.
That was a podcast.
So that is a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, that is. So you do know what one is
Yes,
now.
you
isn't it?
do.
I
Because he
did.
watched that one.
I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, is there a reason for the word pod?
iPod to watch or listen to something on an iPod, an Apple product. It's just a name brand slung out there and it stuck.
Okay. So it comes from Apple, comes from iPod, and they just call it a podcast.
Right. Now, generic term, anyone, anywhere, any format, typically it could be video along with this. It could be just audio that you listen to.
Yep.
So
That's what it is.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We just did a podcast.
It's pretty much not broadcast.
Yep.
I guess that would be the way to say it. It could be
It's put out on a
could be
closed
5
medium.
minutes,
Yeah.
Could be 2 minutes. Could be 2 hours and 25 minutes.
A podcast could.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Do you,
How long were we on?
2 hours and 25 minutes.
No.
Do you
my
want
God.
Still
to
rolling.
do you want to do a sign off in case you need a sign off?
Sure. Just
Put that over
look
there.
over here to the slider.
Okay. Number no. Wow, we don't have a number on it.
Does that
Wow.
have a number?
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Can't tell you what this meant to me. I hope it means something to you. And I pray that you pass this on to someone you care about that you want to invest in. That's it for tonight. And we'll catch up with you on the next podcast.